go ahead and call the meeting to order, and we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome, September 8th, 2025. This is Shawnee County Board of County Commissioners. My name is Aaron Mays. I represent District 3. On my left is Commissioner Bill Ripron. He represents District 1. On my right is Commissioner Kevin Cook. He represents District 2. Good morning to both of you. Our County Councilor, Rich Eckert, is at my far right, and at my far left is our County Clerk, Lisa Schmidt. Good morning to both of you as well.
Good morning, Commissioners.
So today is a little bit different than our typical meeting. It is our revenue neutral rate hearing as well as our regular business meeting. So we'll do things probably a little bit different than normal. I normally don't read from a script. I'll be reading from a script today because we have some very particular guidelines that we have to follow, and I don't want to mess it up. And we do have several people that are signed up to speak today. It doesn't say here if they're signed up to speak on the R&R or on just general items. So I'm just going to assume that it's R&R, and if you do not want to speak on that and you want to speak on other items, just let me know, and we'll make accommodations there. So first item of business here is our bond counsel, Bob Perry. Oh, sorry. I should let you read that. Sorry. So
You can
go ahead.
read it,
First
or I
item,
can read
please.
it.
Go ahead.
Do you want me to read
New
it?
business, A, bond council. 1, consider approval of resolution number 2025-71, authorizing the issuance of an estimated $6,700,000 aggregate principal amount of Shawnee County, Kansas taxable industrial revenue bonds, Phase 2, 220 Southeast 6th LC project, Phase 2.
Hi, Bob Perry. Back in 2021, you authorized the issuance of $13 million of industrial revenue bonds, the proceeds from which are being used to renovate and rehabilitate the old AT&T building. We issued $3,815,000 of industrial revenue bonds in 2021. Most of those proceeds were used to finish the renovation to the second floor and to continue the abatement of the asbestos. This $6.7 million estimated amount of IRBs will be used to finish the renovation on the first floor and make the first floor usable as a laboratory hub, which was approved by JADO, I think it was last year or 2 years ago now.
Okay, questions?
This is the second issue that was authorized of an estimated $13 million.
Any questions?
Well, yes, just
Okay.
industrial revenue bonds, and when we talk about this, is the county liable in any way, shape, or form?
No, not by statute. You cannot use any tax revenues to pay these.
Does it affect any of the taxpayers in what taxes they pay to Shawnee County?
Only the borrower of the IRB.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
Okay. Any other questions? No? Okay, then I'd make a motion that we approve the resolution.
We have to
Or, wait,
open public hearing, correct, Bob?
No, we've had the public hearing. This is the
Yeah.
third one for this particular issue.
I apologize.
yeah, it didn't say public hearing on here, so. Okay, motion by Commissioner May, second by Commissioner Rippon. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
Great. Thank you, gentlemen.
Next item, please.
Item 2, revenue neutral rate public hearings. A, public hearings to consider 3 resolutions to exceed revenue neutral rate for budget year 2026. 1, public hearing and consideration of Shawnee County Resolution Number 2025-68, authorizing a levy of property taxes in support of the 2026 budget year for Shawnee County that exceeds the revenue neutral rate of 46.211 mils.
Okay, is there a motion to open the public hearing?
Motion made.
Okay, motion has been made by Commissioner Cook. Second has been made by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor of the motion to open the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The vote having passed 3-0, the revenue neutral rate public hearing is now open. Before we hear public comment, I'd like to make the following announcements to state how we will proceed. We'll begin with a staff presentation from our Audit Finance Director. Following this presentation, we'll hear public testimony and comment on whether the county should exceed the revenue neutral rate for the 2026 budget. Once we've heard from all those wishing to speak, we'll close the public comment. Commissioners may make any additional comments that they wish to make, and then following a motion in a second, we'll have a roll call vote on whether to exceed the revenue neutral rate for the 2026 Shawnee County budget via the adoption of Resolution 2025-68.
Correct.
Following the vote on the resolution, we'll close the public hearing on the R&R, and we will move on to our next agenda item. To go off script, after that, I will likely have us stand at ease for about 5 minutes in case anybody wants to not hang out for the rest of the meeting. And then we can also do restroom break or whatever. So, okay. So, Jennifer, let's go ahead and get started.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jennifer Sauer, Financial Administrator. I just wanted to define and explain real quickly what being revenue neutral is. Being revenue neutral means that Shawnee County budgets the exact same amount of property tax revenue in dollars for the 2026 budget year as it did for the current 2025 year. The revenue neutral is the mill levy rate that will generate the exact same amount of property tax revenue as the year before, using the current tax year's total assessed valuation. So for example, if Shawnee County used $100 million of property tax revenue in 2025, being revenue neutral means that we would plan to only use $100 million in 2026 as well. If Shawnee County intends to use even $1 more, it would exceed the revenue neutral rate. And so before doing so, the law requires the county to hold a public hearing and take a roll call vote on passing a resolution to exceed the revenue neutral rate. And that is what we are doing today.
Do commissioners have any questions for Audit Finance? Okay. Seeing none.
Thank you.
We will now hear public comment. Before we begin, the following rules do apply to public comment. We ask that you limit your remarks to whether Shawnee County should exceed the revenue neutral rate for the county's 2026 budget. Everyone will be allowed an opportunity to speak. Everyone who has signed up will have their name called and speak in order that they signed up, which is listed on the screen, although I don't see it up there, followed by anyone who is here but did not sign up in advance. When your name is called, please come up to the podium, state your name and address. Each speaker will be limited to 4 minutes. There is a timer on the TV screen that will assist you with that time limit. If you go beyond the 4-minute time limit, I'll ask you to conclude your comments in fairness to everyone else who is here and waiting to speak. And we ask that you refrain from making comments or remarks from the audience, and please limit your comments to your time at the podium. We have a lot of people signed up to speak today. Everyone's time is valuable, so rather than repeat something that a previous speaker said, it's always acceptable for you to simply state your agreement with a previous speaker or speakers, and then cede your time. Thank you in advance for your cooperation and patience on that. And so we will now begin our public comment portion. The first person signed up today is Shirley Burbank. Shirley Burbank. It does not appear that Shirley is here today, so we will move on to Jack Calcutt.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Jack Calcutt. I'm a resident and property owner in Shawnee County. I live in District 1. My family is expecting to pay over $20,000 in property taxes on our home and local investments over the next year. And I would like to offer a short argument that we should not raise the mill rate on property taxes above the revenue neutral rate. This increase essentially reduces both housing affordability while simultaneously reducing property values. As a property owner, I'm focused on the cost inputs that prevent me from earning more of a profit on the rents that I charge. Property taxes can be a little confusing. The county appraiser determines a market value of each property, then applies an assessment ratio, which is mandated by the state. And then the county, city, and school boards each set a mill rate. Each mill means $1 of tax for each $1,000 of assessed value. The effective tax rate for homeowners in Shawnee County is 1.48%. That means 1.48% of homeowners' property is taken for taxes each year. Homeowners shop for affordability using real estate prices and other cost inputs like taxes. All other variables remaining equal, increase in tax rates increases the cost of ownership of a home and therefore makes it less attractive to purchase. Many county services, such as parks, library, roads, and police, are accessible to non-residents. And so the main advantage of living inside the county is the proximity to amenities. If someone is willing to drive a bit, they can still enjoy the county services while taking advantage of other counties' lower tax rates. All but one of the surrounding counties, Wabunsee, Potawatomi, Jackson, Douglas, and Jefferson counties, have lower effective tax rates than Shawnee. This means we're currently not competing for homeowners in those counties. Raising the mill rate in Shawnee County and anywhere on the margin will bring downward pressure on values and make owning here incrementally less attractive than these surrounding counties. If property values decline or fail to increase, there is potential future tax revenue which won't be realized. In this sense, raising tax rates is a form of borrowing against the future and should be weighed against borrowing and other investment opportunities. We shouldn't take on debt to pay for operating costs, and we shouldn't raise tax rates to do it either. Further, mill rate increases specifically burden property owners who do not have a vote, proportional to the cash they are paying into the local government. Very large property owners have the opportunity to negotiate for tax incentive deals, but most homeowners do not have this privilege. They will instead vote with their dollars by selling when the tax burden renders their investment less palatable to other options. More selling continues to put downward pressure on property values, thus eroding or limiting the taxable base. This is a vicious cycle that continues if left unchecked. I used to live in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and that's absolutely what happened there. And it's one of the highest tax districts in the country. So my hope is that the commission and the city of Topeka and local school boards and other entities will, instead of raising the tax rate, work together to see around the corner to a future where lower property tax rates means higher property values, more affordability, and future improvement in the services for both residents and visitors of Shawnee County. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Our next person signed up is Doug Cook. Doug Cook. Not seeing Doug, we will move on to Alejandra Saldivar. Alejandra Saldivar. Okay. Connie Hansen, or Hansel?
I'm Connie Hansen. My address is 2919 Southwest Greenridge Street, which is west of Auburn Road. I built this house recently, so I know exactly the cost of this home, plus the land, and when the county came out to appraise the property, they appraised it for more than $80,000 more than what I had paid for it, including the land. So I'm taxed higher for that, and then I get a letter in the mail that says, now you want to raise my taxes an additional 6.7%, and that's very unaffordable. I see this list here, and I've circled, and anybody could have this. I think there's some areas that can be decreased drastically, not all, but some, that might help you out with your increase that you might need. Also, I agree with the first gentleman who spoke. I'm not as prepared as he was, but he absolutely told the truth. City and the county of Shawnee County has been overtaxed for years. It's a given. We all know that. You know it. And now you're still wanting to tax us more. You're running us out of here. Our families cannot afford to live here. Our children are moving. They don't want to stay here. They cannot afford to stay here. Seniors mostly live in the county. We are on fixed incomes. And when we see increases in taxes, insurance, utilities, and food, they cannot afford it. So at least look at the seniors. What can you do for them as well? I think we need the city to thrive, not to fail, like this gentleman said. This is what's happening. We have been witnessing mismanagement of the taxpayers' money in the last 2 years. And I know some of it is dealing with the city when they purchase a hotel and things like that, that we do not feel taxpayers' money should be spent that way, and now we're having to have this debt until 2060. So this is getting to be a problem. I want you to really think about what you're doing with the taxes and the citizens of this area. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Brian Froman.
Thank you, gentlemen, for the opportunity to speak today. Greatly appreciate this. I am not as prepared as the first gentleman. However, my sentiments are the same. My name is Brian Froman, as stated. I live in the 3rd District. Many emotions will be talked about today and brought up, but I want to hone in on the facts of the matter, which, as of right now, there's 2 key factors. One is, I agree with both previous speakers, as I just stated. Also, retirement is the biggest tax burden that our seniors, tax burden is the biggest problem with our seniors right now. A lot of people, there is one person I know that lives just in Auburn, and he almost lost his house because of the taxes. That he had to go out, get a loan, everything else, just pay taxes on his home. Now, we could go through a whole period of things about that, but that's not for today. The other thing is that over the last 9 years that I've lived in Shawnee County, our property taxes doubled. Now, I get it, things go up, expenses have to be taken care of. And some things I understand also were not necessarily dealt with when they should have, so now they're being dealt with now and everything costs double. However, we understand that. The problem is that it just feels like we're getting the brunt of this. We're feeling this more than what we should. That's the biggest thing that I've noticed from people. And the other thing is that, people talk about the Topeka Hotel, but it's not even that. It's a simple fact is that you're asking us to come up with $20 million more from what it was previously. The issue is that, yes, that we probably need these services, we probably need them, and because we waited for so long and people didn't step up to the plate when they should have, now everything's more expensive. We understand that. The problem is that I don't believe that, I believe that there is a way for us to actually be able to take a better look at this and do it better, or use some of the other resources that we have to get people to actually start investing in their communities. Just because even though my family's lived here for 9 years, we are wanting to move away from here because of the taxes, because of what the first gentleman talked about Wabunsee. The other counties around us don't have as big a tax burden. Now, granted, they also don't have the state capital also. We understand that. But there's got to be ways for us to save a little bit more money or be able to not have such a huge burden. If there's a way to cut something or do something, giving us the spreadsheet that we have, well, it doesn't break down everything. It's a good start. I'll give that to you, 100%. But doesn't give us the breakdown of what we actually need and what we can actually see and say, why are we spending money here when we should be spending the money over here? Thank you, gentlemen, for your time, and please just think about everything that's going on. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you. Next up is Henry McClure.
Good morning, Chairman. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to y'all today. My name's Henry McClure. I'm a resident of Topeka, Kansas, which is also within Shawnee County. making sure you knew. I'm here to talk about not raising the revenue neutral rate, and I will try to give some articulate reasons why. My friend, my transplant friend from Connecticut did a great job, and I'd like to embrace everything that he said, but I'd also like to add a couple of nuances that they just haven't raised enough attention in our community yet. And that's fair taxation and collecting taxes from people that haven't paid in a decade. Your county councilor very wisely pointed out, well, the city of Topeka can collect on all those back specials out there. And that's really their duty to do it. And I brought that up because I really appreciate his input. He's a very smart man. But the problem is over time, I haven't been able to get the city of Topeka to want to collect that $8 million in back taxes out in Lawrence Bay, and I've made an effort. A lot of people say, Henry, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So I'm going to ask you, please, we ought to collect that $8 million in back taxes in Lawrence Bay on behalf of the city, since they're not doing it. It's whose job really is it to collect the taxes? I basically thought it was the treasurer, but everybody's going like this. It's not that, do this, call them. But we got to look into it. We really got to look into that. If you look at the actual, you can go case by case. You know, our county, our commercial appraisals don't have any comparables. And your appraiser said it's because we have the wrong software or we don't have any software. And you can go case by case based on the taxpayer, and you can see huge disparities in who pays what. So when you guys in the government don't collect taxes from this guy and give these guys over here special tax rates, we've got to change the system. In fact, it's really good. My good friend Patrick just walked in, and I'm going to ask him to support John Ockla's bill to go to a what I'm calling the Homestead Act of 2025, where once you buy a property, that's the tax rate until you sell it. Because it's really the only way to get the market tax rate is based on what a person will pay and what a person will sell it for. Everything else, if you've ever heard the term kabuki theater, that's what it is. That's what your appraisers do. It's not fair. And somehow we have to create awareness that both governments are doing a poor job at their job. That's why we need to enact the Citizens Commission, which you guys so fast killed by Senate Bill 104. But we need to have more citizens involved in this process. And I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to address you. Hope you got educated.
Okay, our next speaker is Richard Johnson.
I'm Richard Johnson. I live in the 3500 block of Huxman out by Silver Lake. I'm 77 years old. I'm a retired Capers member. We haven't had a cost of living raise in 22 years. My house is appraised at $236,000. It was a repo when I bought it for $160,000, so I put stuff into it. My mother died. Her house is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It got in a bidding war, and it sold for $166,000. I have a 1-bathroom, 2-bedroom, 1,300 square foot house. This is a problem for me because I'm not going to sell the house. I'm living there until I die, but yet I'm going to pay market value. My quality of life has not increased by all the taxes that I have. The other problem that I have with this is I've worked with a lot of veterans. I'm a veteran myself. And when you appraise these properties and the value gets to a certain level, they no longer get compensation from government because the property is higher than what the limit was. So you're having another impact on people there. Being 77 years old, everything wears out, even your bed sheets. Things need to be replaced, things need to be repaired. That's a problem for a lot of people on fixed income. Fortunately, I'm healthy enough that I can paint my house. I can do a few of those things, but a lot of other people can't. And if they had the money, then they would purchase things in the city, which you have sales taxes and so forth. Another concern that I had is basically with JADO, because we lose control of development in the land. I mean, some of the taxes we share. I mean, it's a county-wide tax, and we're sharing that, but we don't get to vote in city elections. I think that's a problem. We have potential conflict with the tax distributing. All of these things have taken place. You know, I really help a lot of people that struggle with this type of thing, and there are a lot of senior citizens here. I've been here all my life, and as a policeman, I've seen everybody's houses, and I know what they go through with this. I just think that I'm against getting any more taxes increased because everything has gone up. Utilities have gone up. Like I said, everything needs to be repaired, and people just don't have the money to do that. So I'll leave it at that because these people have done a better job than I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Linnell Griffith.
Hello, Commissioners. Linnell Griffith, Topeka. You know, it is heartbreaking to hear a lot of these stories, but I am not going to spend my time on that. I'm just going to give proposed solutions, and I emailed each of you my thoughts as well. I'm going to diverge from that a little bit and say, economic development is something where we have some money that we could use to give a tax break. For example, in 2024, there was $11 million that went to go to Topeka. And I looked at the increases in property tax revenue from the county and from the state since 2020. And on average, the city was collecting $2 million more per year, and the county was $8 million. So, I'm sorry, the county was $6 million. So a total of $8 million, and think Go Topeka got $11 million. We could shift that money for Go Topeka to the county and to the city and do what you need to do, but give the people a break. Because as you know, our population hasn't grown in a meaningful way, in a noticeable way. And we're punishing the people staying here, but this is a lovely community, and we have some fabulous things that we can really capitalize on, such as our relatively low cost of living. That can be a draw to bring people into the community. I mean, you look at housing prices, Topeka compared to Lawrence, we're way better. If we can just get a better tax environment, that can be a huge part of our economic development. There is a dream of home ownership out there right now, and it's being lost on young people. But here in the capital city of the Midwest and in Shawnee County, we have a golden opportunity to bring people in with this lower cost of living and all the old houses that could be renovated. I mean, we got our first house in Topeka for like the less than the cost of a new car and made it fabulous. There are still historical houses on the market for like $50,000 to $100,000 that could be renovated. That sounds like a tangent, that I'm going off track, but I'm not. Here's the thing. There are diamonds in the rough here that are economic development. We need to take inventory of our assets to bring people into the community. And when we raise our property taxes, that's working against what we could be doing. We want to bring people in. 1 minute, okay. So some solutions. You shift that Go Topeka money back to the county and the city for those core functions of government that we all support. And I know that was a 2014 referendum. We voted yes. But if you look at what we voted in 2014, we were like, fix all these roads and economic development, which it's time to shift back so we get the property tax relief that we need to keep people here. And maybe this is more of a state issue too. Like Henry said, if we had the appraised value at the real property value, and that doesn't change till you sell it, then people know what to expect. I would take it, I would do that and take it a step further and say, at the state level, if we can't get it fixed here, it goes to a public vote if we're going to increase taxes beyond inflation and also adjust it for population. So you draw more people in, you get more people paying taxes, industrious people paying taxes, then you have more revenue to support everything that you need to do. I think that's fair. So, and I'm out of time. I'm happy to take any questions. I know that's
We
not
don't
the way you
typically
do it.
do question and answer during public comment, but
I
thank you.
know, others do. All right, I might follow up with y'all individually. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Appreciate that. So that's the end of the folks we have signed up. I'm going to go back. We've had a couple people walk in, so I'm going to go back to the people that were not here, see if any of them arrived late. Shirley Burbank, Jack Calcutt, no, he spoke. Doug Cook, Alejandra Saldivar. Okay. Is there any other member of the public? Would you like to speak, please?
Hi, everybody. My name is Patrick Schmidt. I live here in Topeka and Potwin, both a landlord and own a house in Potwin, and I've been a renter as well. And we heard from a lot of people during the last election cycle that property taxes were the #1 issue. In fact, in pretty hard times, I think it's the one thing that brings us all together. I wish we had I wish we'd been more productive on it in the legislature. But it's something that I'm committed to doing, and I think we've heard a lot of good ideas from the people here today. I think one of the big things that really kind of stuck in my craw about this meeting is you got tens of thousands of people, if not more, in Shawnee County that are upset about this issue, and we've got a 9 a.m. meeting on a Monday. I don't expect to see a lot of people at Walmart at 9 a.m. or at Dillon's at 9 a.m., and I don't expect to see a lot of people at a public comment hearing at 9 a.m. And we've got a lot of people being taxed out of their homes in Topeka. I think the #1 thing that I'm going to be pushing in the legislature, but Shawnee County could also act on, is instead of having a public comment, if you guys want to raise taxes, you could have a vote. You could have a vote on the primary election. And heard some people say, well, that puts it too close to the end of the year. And the solution is simple. You prepare 2 budgets. One if your vote goes forward, and one if it fails. But right now, when we're not going to see a commensurate increase in services, we've got valuations going up and the mill levy going up without services going up. So I'd like to see that fixed. And if we don't see progress, I think in Shawnee County, pretty confident in the coming session, the legislature will do something. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Anyone else? Come on up, please.
My name is Sid Hubler. I live at 6830 Southwest 40th Street here in Topeka, or in Shawnee County. I wasn't planning to speak here this morning, but I heard 3 items that I thought were innovative or significant opportunities to be considered, and I have 2 others that I'd like to add. The one, I guess, it's not, excuse me, is not actually an opportunity, but it seems like a significant issue in terms of the vote is not proportional to the value of property being taxed. And there's something about that that just doesn't seem quite right to our constitutional system of one person, one vote. It's one person, one vote, but that person is carrying more of the burden. The opportunities, I thought, were the one that caught my attention was collecting back taxes more aggressively. And the other one was that commercial properties don't have comparables for the sake of valuing the property to be taxed. And I've not really thought about that, but I did work in the real estate business for a while. And comps are an important part of valuing homeowners' properties. So I feel like something needs to be done in that regard. The two things that caught my eye thinking about this topic is asking that the commissioners look at, on a year-to-year basis, the amount of the budget cost that is being spent for administrative functions as opposed to services and hard material costs. I see a lot of inefficiency growing in all kinds of public institutions. The competitive commercial environment requires, in order for you to survive, to be competitive. There is not that motive in the public sector. And to me, administrative would be one place to look at and evaluate your effectiveness or your efficiency. The other is a more aggressive or more competitive effort or process for the bids for contracts and services that you let, the bids that you let. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak? Yeah, come on up.
My name is Margaret Westcott, and I live in Auburn. I agree with everybody that has spoken. Taxes need to come down. I live in a house that was prefab, made in McPherson in a building, and then shipped to Auburn. In '92, I bought it for $54,000. Now it's being appraised at $132,510. If somebody was to walk in to try to buy my house and they see the cabinets, the walls, trims, and everything that's inside, and look at the sinks and everything in there, oh, this is a mobile home, a cheap mobile home. I wouldn't want to pay $132,000 for it. If I was to get $90,000, I'd be lucky. And yet my taxes have gone up each year, and I'm a retired military, so I don't get an awful lot on that. And so I agree with everybody. We need to cut this down. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Just if you just want to have a seat till that.
I'm Mary Hawkins. I live in Shawnee County. I'm really concerned with the unaffordability of homes in Kansas. And the ones, we've been looking at homes, and most of them are going for over $100,000, and they're just going to cost too much to rebuild or refix or whatever. The property taxes on my home, I've fought I don't know how many times to get it reduced. Yeah, we get a little bit here and there, but I don't think my house is worth the amount of money that the county is charging me taxes on. And it's just a vicious cycle, and you're not going to get new homeowners to buy anything. There's so many vacant houses out there within different areas of Topeka that are just sitting there that nobody's buying. And it's just a vicious circle with us having to, every time, have to fight on the taxes and get them reduced on our property. I mean, we live in Oakland. It's not a pristine place like Lawrence Bay or something like that, but it's getting unaffordable, and seniors are having struggles with the taxes. I mean, we're not getting any more on our Social Security. Our pensions are not going up. You're expecting more, you know, and I don't see the services. I don't see where I'm getting a benefit from the services that the county provides or the city provides. So I can't see us going on in this vicious circle. I would like to see us being able to vote on the raise of the taxes or not, or the mill levies. Let it be to the people, not to just a few people to decide. So that's all I've got to say.
Okay, sure.
My name is Tim Scott. I live over by Lake Shawnee in the city of Topeka. And I appreciate you commissioners and the work that you have to do, because it's not an easy job. And I'm very sorry to see that Commissioner Rippon is not running for re-election, is what I've heard, and I'm very disappointed about that. Anyway, you know, I've been a minister in this city for 20 years, and I've dealt with a lot of people over those years. And I deal with a lot of people that don't have a lot of money. And again, we've had outrageous inflation. The utilities keep going up and up and up. What can the people do about that? Nothing. They have hearings, but that doesn't mean anything. And you know it. Look, no matter how, if we had 1,000 people come up here and talk, you're still going to vote however you want to vote. I'm not saying that you don't listen to people. I'm just saying you need to see how it looks from everybody else's viewpoint, right? Been through this with the city. I'm not someone who is always up here in front of you or in the front of the city. I've only been to the city once, and I've only been before you one other time. I'm not a political, I'm not here to affect politics in this city necessarily. But one thing I do know, God has a plan for the city, and it's better than what's happening right now. And I'm looking forward to what He has for us in this city. He has good plans, and it's going to be good. And I'm looking forward to that. But you cannot continue to take from a small pool of people. I mean, does anybody know what the percentage of property owners are in the county?
It's like 1/3.
1/3. So you're squeezing the 1/3 for the 2/3. And you keep squeezing the 1/3. My personal house payment has gone up, not because of insurance, but because of property taxes, $100 on average every year for the last several years. Where's that money going to come from? You don't have to worry about that. You don't care about the fact that my inflation, what that's done to me personally. All these people that are on fixed incomes, where's the concern for them? You know, I know you have a lot of pressure from business, from all sides, but this is not the way to go. And I appreciate that you have law enforcement at the top, and I'm a strong proponent of law enforcement. Administrative is going up 25%. I wish I could just vote myself more money so that I could take care of things I need to take care of. That doesn't work that way, and it doesn't work for all the people, all the seniors, all the veterans, all the people on fixed incomes. JADO is taxation without representation. That's all it is. And if you want a revolution, that's a good way to start it. You can't keep squeezing property owners. That's all I have to say. I do appreciate the work that you do. Don't get me wrong. Somebody has to do it. It's not an easy job. But you can't keep squeezing us. Okay? Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Okay. Okay, is there anyone else wishing to speak on this item? This is your final opportunity to speak on this item before we take any action. Come on up.
My name is Mary Tree Sanders. I live in Shawnee County. I have contested my taxes several times. They've gone up exponentially. And years ago, I was like, they're trying to tax us out of our homes. And it's become a reality, and it does make me sad. And I'm on a fixed income. And I have compassion for especially the military, that, you know, there's no more money coming in, but our taxes keep going up. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. I'll read this one more time. Anyone else wishing to speak on this item? This is the final opportunity to speak on this item before we take any action. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for your comments today. It is always good to hear from folks, so do definitely appreciate that. Seeing no further comment, we will move on to consideration of whether to exceed the revenue neutral rate for Shawnee County's 2025 budget via the adoption of Resolution 2025-68. I would ask commissioners if there are any comments before we take a motion. Commissioner Rippon, Commissioner Cook. I'll make a few then. So there's a few things that came up that I feel like we probably need to at least mention. There was a comment made that there are no services going up, and there are. And one of those, actually there's a couple. So if you look at our budget, the sheet that was given out here, Vallejo is receiving a pretty sizable increase. That's our mental health facility. They do substance abuse treatment. The reason for that increase is because of cuts that were made at the state level. And they have asked that we supplement those losses. Also, we have added a mental health facility at our jail. It's not open yet. It's under construction currently. We have to staff that facility. And so in order to get some mental health professionals on board at the jail to staff that facility, there is additional revenue needed to do that. So, and then I would say the other is the district attorney's office, who requested a relatively large increase for wages, as well as our sheriff's office, which we had a new contract with the Fraternal Order of Police this year, and there was an increase to wages at the for sheriff deputies as well. And so almost 100% of their increase is attributed to deputies' wages. So those are things that I just wanted to mention. There's a couple things here that we also need to address. We are mandated to pay for a lot of things. Our budget includes, we have a list of 18 mandates from the state of Kansas that we are required to pay for. That is the staffing of our motor vehicles division. It is our courts, it's our elections, it's the district attorney's office, a number of things that we are required to pay for. In the past, up until a few years ago, the state assisted us with the local ad valorem tax reduction fund and the city county revenue sharing fund. Those were two measures that the state of Kansas funded to offset property taxes, to help us so that we did not have to raise property taxes. That was they would basically give us a portion of the sales tax revenue that they collected. It was distributed based on a formula to cities and counties around the state. They stopped funding that several years ago. The other big issue here is that everyone here is a homeowner. We hear about residential property taxes. I didn't see anyone here talking about commercial property taxes, right? And so one person mentioned it. So there's a balance, I think, that has been mismanaged that needs to be fixed at some point. Unfortunately, we don't have the power to do that. A lot of that requires constitutional changes with our state constitution. The legislature several years ago decided to stop taxing machinery and equipment for commercial property or for commercial properties, which shifted the burden of government onto residential property tax owners. And so I think there's something that probably could be addressed there. The other thing is that we don't receive a sales tax or an income tax in Shawnee County that goes towards our general fund. Now, if you Google it, it looks like we're receiving a sales tax. A good chunk of that goes to Washburn. A small chunk of that goes to the Gage Park Improvement Authority, which was voted on just last year or the year before. And then the rest of it goes towards that countywide sales tax that was mentioned a little bit ago. So of that, it paid for the Expo Center renovations. There's a number of street projects, and then there's $5 million of it that goes towards JADO for Go Topeka for economic development. That economic development has brought in a number of businesses to Shawnee County. The Walmart Distribution Center, Mars, things like that have all been brought in from that economic development. So none of that goes towards our general fund. And I always use the analogy that when you talk about government funding, there's a three-legged stool of taxation, and that is property, income, and sales tax. And the three-legged stool, obviously you take one out and the stool falls over. Well, county government, we're on a unicycle. We have property taxes, and as valuations go up, we go one way, we go back the other way with the mill levy. It all hinges on the budget, though. So there's kind of this teeter-totter. You've got the mill levy, you've got the valuations, and it goes up and down, but it's really the budget that matters. And so we have worked pretty hard, I feel like, on getting our budget to a place where we are not adding wants. We are maintaining our needs, and in some cases, we are cutting services. We are cutting needs. You can ask our Public Works Department, who took a 5% cut to their budget, despite the fact that asphalt prices are up, despite the fact that the glass beads they use for line striping on the roads have gone up. Our insurance prices have gone up. There are a lot of expenses going up, and we are cutting. If you look here, we've cut over $5 million from our proposed budget already. And we could go more. There's another thing factored into this budget that many people don't consider, and that is that we have an extra pay period in 2026 to the tune of $3.748 million that we have to pay because we have employees, and it's just an anomaly. About every 10 or 11 years, it comes, what's that?
13.
Every 13 years, we have a year where there's an extra pay period, and we've got to fund that as well. So that's something that we are actually drawing from our reserves to pay for that one pay period. We do have some reserves, and we are using them, the excess. We like to have 25% of our budget in reserves, I believe, is the number that we have as a standard. And that was developed because we had financial hard times during the recession, I believe it was, where there was not enough money to pay the bills and there was a huge tax increase. And I'm happy that we're not in that situation. But I just kind of want to reiterate the fact that, you know, we try pretty hard. I think we're all taxpayers as well. I own property in Shawnee County. If your taxes go up, my taxes go up as well. I don't like it any more than you do. And I feel like, I mean, I don't pay as close of attention to every governmental entity in Shawnee County, but I feel like we try really hard to get this budget down. And I can't speak for the other commissioners, but we've made some very difficult decisions. I do think that the legislature has to address property tax. I think they need to address a lot of different taxes as well. I think they need to look at kind of the whole gamut and figure out what's wrong with our taxation at the state level, at the county level, at the township level. We need a bigger solution than, I mean, we can't just rely on property tax. I mean, that's the real problem here is that and not just that, but we're relying on residential property taxes. And so it's the people that are suffering the most, I feel like, out of all this. And so there are many things that we can change. It's finding the willingness to change them. People have got to cooperate to get things done, and that's really hard to do sometimes. And we have to come up with creative solutions. And like I said earlier, I really do appreciate everybody coming today. This is how government is supposed to work. There was a mention about having it at 9 in the morning. We did try it at a later hour, and we also had people complain then that we were interrupting dinner time, and that so I mean there's no good time to have it, and so you know, we scheduled business during business hours and addressed it just during our regular meeting time. So anyways, that's about all I have to say at this point. Does anyone else have something to say? Commissioner Cook?
Just to maybe also add some clarification, the Shawnee County property tax makes up the vast majority of our budget revenue. We don't have other resources that we're able to draw from. Every one of us buys groceries. Every single time that I walk into a grocery store and I see what the cost of milk, eggs, butter, bread, it does not make me happy. But it is what it is. I can't go to the grocer and say I want to have a public hearing because I don't like the cost of milk, eggs, butter. When I go to the gas station, I don't get to tell the gas station attendant I don't like the price of gas. It is what it is. Likewise, your Shawnee County government, when we have an increase in materials, when asphalt goes up, when steel goes up, when the cost of materials go up, when the cost of labor goes up, when the Senate and the representatives of the Kansas House push things down upon the county government. We have no control over that. When the federal government cuts funding, we have no control over that. Those are all things that are passed down to your local government. Every one of us is touched by county government. In Oakland, we replaced a pool that was built in 1965 for $3 million. We will never see a return of investment on that pool. But it's a public amenity that affects all of us. When we look at the Shawnee County Jail, the mental health facility, why is Shawnee County spending all those millions of dollars on a mental health facility? It's because the state is so backlogged that they have not properly funded mental health in this state. They've cut and cut and cut from mental health. That we have inmates that are waiting 6 to 8 months to get mental health treatment. So the county picks up the burden. Each one of us is taxed on county. It's not just the county that live outside of the county that pays property tax to Shawnee County. The entire residents that own property within Shawnee County pay. There is representation on the Joint Economic Development Organization. Both city and county have a say in that $5 million. We look at all of those amenities that are passed on and everything that we provide. So in Shawnee County, if we were to have a revenue neutral, we will need to eliminate $2 million more from what has already been cut to get to revenue neutral. And it's a little bit higher than that, I'm seeing from our audit finance director. But that means that we're now cutting personnel, we're cutting programs. So those are the things that we are down to. We don't have other taxing revenue sources. We don't have franchise fees. The state has not provided us any other opportunities. So that's where we're at, and we have reduced already, as Commissioner May said, and I don't know that we have anything more to say. Unfortunately, we will need, in my opinion, to exceed the revenue neutral. That doesn't mean that our budget's final yet. Those are two separate things. Today's vote is only on whether or not we would exceed the revenue neutral rate. I don't have anything further.
I believe we are actually planning on voting on a budget today.
Yes, but
After the hearing,
Yes.
it's a separate agenda item, I believe, isn't it?
yes, it is.
Where is the agenda?
But the vote today is on
Yeah.
the revenue neutral.
So we don't have to vote on the budget today,
Absolutely. We don't have to pass a
but
budget
it is on the agenda.
For
that we-
discussion.
Yes,
for
so,
discussion. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Commissioner Rippon, anything?
Sure. You know, so much of what we do is mandated by the state. I think Commissioner Mays and Commissioner Cook hit on some of those. These are things we have to do. And it's difficult.
Your microphone's not on.
No, I'm sorry. It's difficult sometimes to even find employees to fill the lanes for some of these departments. We have to be competitive with our wages, not only to attract people, but to retain the people that we have. And that's a big part of our increase this year, is wages have gone up. We're consumers, like everybody else. We don't buy a lot of groceries, but we buy asphalt, we buy paint, we buy steel, we buy concrete, and all those things have gone up. And I know a lot of people say, well, my house, you know, I haven't done anything to my house in 20 years, and now it's doubled in price according to the, well, they probably have. It's your house, congratulations, your house is worth more. Unfortunately, you know, it's costing us a lot more to run government that a lot of it we don't have a lot of say-so in. I wish the state would find different ways of funding they're helping out with property tax. They tend to just push that down on the county. And we're not the only ones. I mean, you have the library, that takes a lot of your money. Schools, you have the airport. You have different entities that are slicing the pie. We tend to take the big hit, though, when people are complaining about property tax, but there are other entities out there. But today, all we're going to decide is if we don't want to paint ourselves in a corner and say, okay, we'll not go above the revenue neutral. I think you're just painting yourself in the corner of the room when you do that. We can still bring that budget down, but there's no need to lock ourselves in today, in my opinion. So that's all I have to say.
Okay. So, let me find, yeah. Yeah, please.
Sorry, Jennifer Sauer, Financial Administrator. I just wanted to clarify, after we have the revenue neutral rate hearing, we have the 2026 public budget hearing. So that's a hearing for us to hear from the public about our budget. That is what we have scheduled next. And then we have on next week's agenda to actually pass our budget after input from the public. I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay. Okay. So, is there a motion to adopt resolution number 2025-68, authorizing a levy of property taxes in support of the 2026 budget year for Shawnee County that exceeds the revenue neutral rate of 46.211 mils? Okay.
Oh. I will make that motion. Yes.
Okay, I'll second the motion. We have a motion has been made by Commissioner Rippon. Second has been made by Commissioner Mays to move and approve and adopt the Shawnee County Resolution number 2025-68, authorizing a levy of property taxes in support of the 2026 budget year for Shawnee County that exceeds the revenue neutral rate of 46.211 mils. Is there any commission discussion on the motion to adopt the resolution to exceed the revenue neutral rate? Hearing no further discussion by commissioners, I would ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion to adopt the resolution to exceed the revenue neutral rate.
Commissioner Mays?
Aye.
Commissioner Rippon?
Aye.
Commissioner Cook?
Aye.
The vote to adopt Shawnee County Resolution number 2025-68, authorizing a levy of property taxes in support of the 2026 budget year for Shawnee County that exceeds the revenue neutral rate of 46.211 mils, passes by a vote of 3-0. Is there a motion to close the public revenue neutral rate hearing?
I will move.
I'll second.
Okay, a motion has been made by Commissioner Cook. A second has been made by Commissioner Rippon. The vote to, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion, the vote to close the public revenue neutral rate hearing passes 3-0. Therefore, the public hearing is now closed. We do have two more public revenue neutral rate hearings. So will the county clerk please read the next item of business on the agenda?
Item 2, public hearing and consideration of Shawnee County Resolution number 2025-69, authorizing a levy of property taxes in support of the 2026 budget year for Shawnee County Sewer District number 2 that exceeds the revenue neutral rate of 7.31 mils.
Is there a motion to open the public hearing? I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion has been made by Commissioner Mays and seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor of the motion to open the public hearing, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes 3-0. That vote having passed 3-0, the revenue neutral rate public hearing for Shawnee County Sewer District Number 2 is now open. We will be following the same procedures for this public hearing as we did for the Shawnee County revenue neutral rate hearing that we just completed. We'll begin with a staff presentation, followed by hearing public comments, followed by a discussion and a vote by the commission on whether to exceed the revenue neutral rate for Shawnee County Sewer District Number 2. Although we do have, it says here that we also would receive comment from Public Works. I don't see anybody from Public Works here, so.
It's not required.
It's not required. Okay, Jennifer, did you want to speak on why why we have to do this and the next item, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Jennifer Sauer, Financial Administrator. So the Board of Commissioners serves as the governing body for both Shawnee County Sewer District Number 2 and Shawnee County Sewer District Number 6. So as taxing entities, a public hearing is required prior to exceeding the revenue neutral rate, just like it was for Shawnee County. In this instance, the revenue neutral rate is actually essentially the exact same as what they're looking at for their proposed levy. Instead of generating $27,280, this one would generate $27,284. So that additional $4 is why we are here today.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I see Kurt is here. Kurt, did you have anything to add to that? Or?
Just the reason for the, why we have to fund these things.
Okay, yeah. Just, if you want to come on up and say your name, please.
Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works. We're here because these sewer districts, they have to have a revenue. And obviously, they have expenses. And one of the major expenses in these sewer districts is maintenance of a lagoon system. The sewer, that doesn't have a treatment plant, so the sewage goes into the lagoon system. Every 15 to 20 years, we have to clean out these lagoons. We last did it in 2019, and so I'm trying to generate a fund or a balance where when it's time to clean the lagoon system out again, there's enough money to do so. So that's really the reason for working with the clerk's office to generate enough revenue that over a 15 to 20 year period, we can do that when the time is appropriate.
Okay, appreciate that.
Yeah.
Does anyone have questions for the Public Works Director?
No.
We'll now hear public comment. Same rules that I announced for the Shawnee County public hearing will apply to this one. We'll now hear public comment. Is anyone present wishing to speak on Sewer District Number 2? I'll ask one more time. Is there anyone present wishing to speak? Okay. This is your final opportunity to speak on this item before we take any action. Okay, seeing no further public comment, we will move on to consideration of whether to exceed the revenue neutral rate for Sewer District Number 2 via adoption of Resolution 2025-69. I would make a motion that we adopt resolution number 2025-69, authorizing a levy of property taxes in support of the 2026 budget year for Shawnee County Sewer District Number 2 that exceeds the revenue neutral rate of 7.31 mils. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion has been made by Commissioner Mays. Second has been made by Commissioner Rippon. Are there any comments or discussion by commissioners on this item? Hearing no further discussion by commissioners, I would ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion to adopt the resolution to exceed the revenue neutral rate for Sewer District Number 2.
Commissioner Mays?
Aye.
Commissioner Rippon?
Aye.
Commissioner Cook?
Aye.
The vote to adopt Shawnee County Resolution Number 2025-69, authorizing a levy of property taxes in support of the 2026 budget year for Shawnee County Sewer District Number 2 that exceeds a revenue neutral rate of 7.31 mils, passes by a vote of 3-0. Is there a motion to close the public revenue neutral rate hearing?
I
I'll
would
move.
Okay, we
Close
got
the
it.
public hearing.
Okay, is there a second?
second.
Motion has been made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Or I guess it would have to be, does this roll call also? Yes. Okay, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Mays,
Aye.
Commissioner Rippon,
Aye.
Commissioner Cook,
Aye.
Okay, the vote to close the public R&R hearing passes 3-0. Therefore, the public hearing is now closed. And we will move on to our next item, please.
Item 3, public hearing and consideration of Shawnee County Resolution Number 2025-70, authorizing a levy of property taxes in support of the 2026 budget year for Shawnee County Sewer District Number 6 that exceeds the revenue neutral rate of 20.567 mils.
Is there a motion to open the public hearing? I'll make the motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Mays and a second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor of the motion to open the public hearing, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Commissioner, see, the vote having passed 3-0, the revenue neutral rate public hearing for Shawnee County Sewer District Number 6 is now open. We'll be following the same procedures for this hearing as we did for the revenue neutral rate hearings that we just completed. We will begin with a staff presentation, followed by hearing public comments, followed by discussion and a vote of the commission on whether to exceed the revenue neutral rate for Shawnee County Sewer District Number 6. Welcome back.
Hi, Jennifer Sauer, Financial Administrator. So in this instance, the revenue neutral rate levy is 20.567, so is the proposed levy. However, in this instance, instead of generating $23,000, we're looking at generating $22,999. So in a preponderance of caution, since that could change by more $1 either direction, we are having a public hearing.
Okay. Commissioners have any questions? Seeing none, we will now hear public comment. The same rules that I announced for the Shawnee County public hearing will apply to this one. We'll now hear public comment. Is there anyone present wishing to speak on this item? Anyone wishing to speak on this item? This is your final opportunity to speak on this item before we take action. Seeing no further public comment, we will move on to consideration of whether to exceed the revenue neutral rate for Sewer District Number 6 via adoption of Resolution Number 2025-70. Is there a motion to adopt Resolution Number 2025-70, authorizing a levy of property taxes in support of the 2026 budget year for Shawnee County Sewer District Number 6 that exceeds the revenue neutral rate of 20.567 mils?
I so move.
Second.
Motion has been made by Commissioner Cook and seconded by Commissioner Rippon. Is there any commission discussion on this motion to adopt the resolution to exceed the revenue neutral rate? Hearing no further discussion by commissioners, I would ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion to adopt the resolution to exceed the revenue neutral rate for Sewer District Number 6.
Commissioner Mays,
Aye.
Commissioner Rippon,
Aye.
Commissioner Cook,
Aye.
The vote to adopt Shawnee County Resolution Number 2025-70, authorizing a levy of property taxes in support of the 2026 budget year for Shawnee County Sewer District Number 6 that exceeds the revenue neutral rate of 20.567 mils, passes via vote of 3-0. Is there a motion to close the public revenue neutral rate hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion by Commissioner Rippon and a second by Commissioner Cook. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Or I
Aye.
guess it was, I'm sorry. We'll go back and do a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Mays?
Aye.
Commissioner Rippon?
Aye.
Commissioner Cook?
Aye.
Okay, the vote to close the public R&R hearing passes 3-0. Therefore, the public hearing is now closed. That concludes our revenue neutral rate public hearings for the day. Did we want to take a quick 5-minute break?
Rather than having a standing, which we should have done at the hour, if we can take a 5-minute.
Okay, we will stand at ease for 5 minutes. We will resume our meeting at 10:25. It is 10:25, and we will resume our meeting. All right, Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Item 3, 2026 budget public hearing. A, public hearing in consideration of Shawnee County's 2026 proposed budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jennifer Sauer, Financial Administrator. I'm just here to see if there's any questions that you have that you would like to have answered and to hear from the public regarding our 2026 proposed budget.
Okay. So do we need a motion to open a public hearing for the budget? Counselor? Do we need a motion to open a public hearing on this, or can we just go into it?
This is on,
Item 3.
I'm sorry, you caught me off guard here.
Sorry, item 3A. Because on the budget, we don't have the.
Statutorily, you do not.
Yeah, we don't have the strict rules, so, okay. Well, then let's go ahead and have our public hearing in consideration of our proposed budget. Are there any members of the public wishing to speak on our proposed budget? There was an item passed out earlier today that has all of our line items. Is there anyone wishing to speak on that? Seeing none. Any commissioner comments or questions on our budget?
We didn't have to have a motion to open this hearing.
That's what I was asking, and
You
he said.
no?
We're not.
Okay, just wanted
No,
to make
budget
sure.
is not subject to the same requirements as the revenue neutral rate
Okay.
hearing, which has some very specific guidelines that we have to meet. So on our proposed budget, it's a little more informal, like what we would typically do in a meeting. Any questions or comments on the budget proposal before us today? Jennifer, did you have anything that you would like to?
No, like I said, I think in looking at the budget, whenever we finalized everything we needed to prepare for today's meeting, we currently are sitting with a proposed mill levy, or an estimated mill levy of 49.157, which is an increase over last year's, or over a current mill levy. It is above our revenue neutral rate and our current mill levy. But I just don't know if there's any questions that you guys have about our budget in particular. I do have our spreadsheet if you want me to pull that up and have any discussions regarding that.
Have you identified any revenues we didn't know about?
Unfortunately, I have not. I think I found one small savings of like $4,000 in preparing this that we would be able to make to the community corrections budget, but that is the only additional savings that I have been able to find.
Okay. Do we have any department heads that would like to add any questions or comments to our budget conversation today?
I know we have a lot of budget, or department heads that are either here or also in a conference room, so if you want to give them a couple minutes. I haven't heard that anybody wants to speak today.
Okay, yeah, so just for clarity, just due to the lack of seating, we had a lot of our department heads that are in the conference room in the back, so watching on television, so.
I do plan to put this, if you do not pass the budget today, I do plan, if you want to give this some consideration, I plan to put it on the September 15th commission agenda, so that if you want to sit on this for a week, we do have to have everything done in a fairly short timeline because we have to have everything approved. We have to have the state budget prepared then from that budget and then turned into the county clerk's office prior to October 1st.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Okay, thank you, Jennifer.
Sure.
We'll move on to our next item, please.
Item 4, consent agenda.
We have a number of items on the consent agenda today. If there are no questions, comments, or concerns on this, I will move for approval.
Second.
Motion has been made by Commissioner Mays, and a second has been made by Commissioner Cook. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
Item 5, new business. A, county clerk. 1, consider all voucher payments.
Okay, our voucher report for this Monday is our total voucher is $6,599.81. Our significant payment includes scheduled GO bond interest and principal payments in the amount of $3,134,858. If there's no questions or comments, I would move that we approve the voucher report.
There should be a second one.
Oh,
You want to rescind your motion until you get done with the
okay,
second one?
yes, that's right. This is for the September 5th voucher report. It's $3,865,102.58. Significant payments include $391,210.20 to Bettis Asphalt for pavement replacement project on Southeast Croco Road, south of KTA's I-470 bridge, paid from the infrastructure fund. And then we have $119,512.18 to Raring Pacific Company for replacement trash containers, paid from the solid waste fund. If there's no comments or questions, I would move for approval of both voucher reports.
Second.
Okay, have a motion by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Cook. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
Item 2, consider correction orders.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Cook. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
B, Parks and Recreation. 1, consider the request to award bid number 036-25 and execute contract C331-2025 with O'Neill Excavating Incorporated for the Shawnee North Sewer Replacement Project. Funding provided by the department's 3R fund.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Lorette, Parks and Recreation Department. So yes, we are asking approval to move forward with this Shawnee South Sewer, or Shawnee North Sewer Replacement Project. As you know, we've had a long history of problems with this particular section of sewer. We've had a lot of issues with our restrooms there at the ball field complex, and we think this, we expect this to solve that problem. We did go out for bid. We got 3 bids back. O'Neill Excavating was by far the lowest. We did check references on that. They're the city of Topeka uses them frequently, and we feel confident they'll be able to do the job. And we'd like to proceed with your approval. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Tim, is this just for the ball fields, or is this for the community center as well?
Right now, this is just for the ball fields. And, well, actually, are we sure about that? I think it is just for the ball fields, Aaron. It's because I think we're probably looking at a bigger issue for the community center. So this would just do the ball diamonds, and it's really the most direct route that we can get to our lagoons out there.
Okay, well, and, having kids that play ball, typically the bathrooms are closed and there's a portable restroom available.
Right.
And so
We'd like to see that go away.
Hopefully this will get it so people can actually use the
Yes.
restrooms up there on a regular
Yes.
basis. So, any questions for Tim? I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
Item 2, consider the request to award bid number 039-25 and execute contract C337-2025 with Concrete Unlimited DBA Unlimited Construction Incorporated for the construction of concrete footers at Playland. Funding provided by the Gage Park Sales Tax Funds.
Tim Laurent, Parks and Recreation Department. This item and my next item are both concerning our ongoing project at Playland in Gage Park. So this is for the concrete footings that will encompass our Sky Trail, which I know we've talked about before, but for those that don't know, it's the elevated play structure that will run through the length of Playland area. There are a number of these footings involved. There's 57 footings altogether. Once you, so that number is, it may seem like a high number, but there's a lot of concrete work there to do. And it's really the very first phase of building that Sky Trail. So these have to be placed exactly. They have to be engineered correctly. So we put a lot of work into this. We did receive 3 bids. Concrete Unlimited was the lowest bid, and we think they'll do great work. We've had several discussions with them prior to coming to this meeting today, and we feel confident they'll be able to do it. I'd be happy to answer. I want to mention that this will be paid out of Gage Park sales tax funds, not out of the county budget. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Questions?
No.
Tim, so I'm assuming that we're saving money by separating out different components of this project. Is it costing us any additional time by doing that?
The answer is yes. It is costing us time. But if you remember, we did get permission from this commission to go out for bid to try to hire someone to manage this project, where we could have really rolled a lot of this in and had that organization handle all of this.
Right.
But we received no bids. So in lieu of trying to go out for another RFP for that, we decided to move forward with these. We'll be up here shortly, to award a bid for concrete work other than this. Our hope is that we get good bids for that and we're able to move right into that seamlessly, but we'll have to wait and see.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Okay, I'll move that we award the bid.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
3, consider approval of contract C 338-2025 with Aspire to Play LLC, utilizing the Greenbush Purchasing Cooperative to purchase play equipment for the Gage Park Playland Improvements Project in the amount of $59,340 with funding from the Gage Park sales tax funds.
Tim Laurent, Parks and Recreation. These items, these pieces of playground equipment are specifically going to go onto the ADA section of the Sky Tower, Sky Trail play system. So just to give a little history on this, is an area that's been custom designed for us. This is a new sort of venture for RCI, the company that's doing the Sky Trail. And we were fortunate enough to get Aspire to Play, was willing to work with the folks at RCI to coordinate their play equipment being attached to the Sky Trail, which is sort of a unique situation, honestly, when you start looking at playground companies. So we're excited about it. It'll really complete that area and provide a lot of play value for a lot of folks. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Okay, I'll move that we approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, please.
C, Public Works. 1, consider request to solicit bids for construction of a segment of Southwest Westport Drive and Southwest 55th Terrace located in Timber Ridge subdivision. The project cost will be paid for via an 18-lot street benefit district created by resolution number 2025-52.
Good morning again, Commissioners. Kurt Neos, Director of Public Works. You know, normally when I come before you with an issue like this, I'm asking for 2 things, approval of a project budget and a request to solicit bids for construction. Since this is a benefit district, the project budget was established when the benefit district was created. Total budget is $730,000. Of course, a portion of that will go into construction of the storm sewer, earthwork, and here I'm before you specifically requesting to put out for bid the street work. The only issue outstanding that may concern you is that normally the same time that we get approval to solicit bids for construction, we have another item on the agenda for a letter of credit. And I believe that is in the process. The banks are working with the county clerk's office, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's on for next Monday. So I don't think it's an area of concern at this point in time. Would the county clerk agree with me?
I would agree. Our bond counsel is working with them.
Okay.
So bringing back to the principal item here, I'm requesting approval to solicit bids, and I look forward to your questions.
Any questions?
No.
Okay, I'll move for approval of the request.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner May, second by Commissioner Cook. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Item 6, public comment.
I don't have anyone signed up. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak today? Seeing none, next item.
Item 7, administrative communications.
Do we have any administrative communications today?
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. I just wanted to announce today we start our 4-week Basic Officer Academy. We have 15 new employees that will be going through 4 weeks of intensive training for mental health, the report writing, litigation, you name it. We provide it. I just want to let you know that we are starting that today. And then I'll get back with you during graduation. I think it's the first Friday in October. But I just wanted to announce that we are starting our next academy.
All right, fantastic. Any other administrative communications today? Commissioner Rippon?
I have nothing to add.
Commissioner Cook?
Kind of a rough weekend for Kansas football
Yeah.
all the way around, but it was good to be on the Washburn campus, and again, everything that Washburn does.
Well, it's a good week to be a Topeka High Trojan, though. My collegiate alma mater didn't do so well, but high school did. So any other administrative communications? Okay, I don't have anything to add, so we'll move on to our next item.
Item 8 is executive sessions.
I don't believe we have a need for executive session today, so we are adjourned.